The best oven mitts are easy to store, easy to clean, have a secure grip, and most importantly, they protect your hands from burning. To find out which one is truly the best, I tested the 10 most popular oven mitts on the market. First, I heated a cast iron skillet in a 500-degree oven for 30 minutes until the handle reached 440 degrees. Then I grabbed the handle with each mitt and timed how long I could hold it before it got too hot. Between tests, I put the skillet back in the oven to keep the temperature consistent. Next, I ran a tournament-style test. I heated the skillet on the stovetop until the bottom was over 400 degrees, put a different oven mitt on each hand, and held the pan. Whichever hand felt cooler in the first 30 seconds won that round. The losers were eliminated until one mitt came out on top. I also tested steam protection by holding each mitt over a pot of boiling water. I used each mitt to pour water out of a heavy cast iron skillet to test the grip. I tried picking up small objects and gripping larger ones to see how well you can handle things in the kitchen while you're wearing them. I ran water over each one and fully submerged them to see if any water leaked through. I stained them to see how easily they are to wipe clean, and I put them through 5 wash cycles to see how they clean, dry, and if the machine causes any damage. I also hung each one up on a drawer knob to see how quickly I could grab it, put it on, and get to work. In this video, I show you the results of my tests and quickly break down the pros and cons of each oven mitt. I'll show you which ones are worth buying and which ones you should avoid. I'll start with the least expensive mitt and end with the most expensive. The KitchenAid Ribbed silicone oven mitt is one of the best-selling oven mitts on Amazon. It comes in a pair of 2 and it's made of silicone with a cotton cuff and polyester lining. This mitt passed all 3 of my heat tests. It lasted the full 30 seconds on the cast iron handle, it passed the steam test with no issues, and it came in second place in the head-to-head matchups. Water doesn't leak through the silicone, and stains wiped right off. The grip is also nice and secure. The biggest issue is dexterity. There's a lot of excess material around the sides and the thumb, which makes it hard to grab smaller objects. It also isn't machine washable. One thing I noticed is that the ribbed texture on the outside tends to trap crumbs, dust, and other debris. You can rinse it off, but it can look dirty in between cleanings. The Sungwoo oven mitt comes in a pair, and it's made of textured silicone on the outside with a polyester cotton lining on the inside. It feels noticeably thinner than most of the others, which probably explains why the heat protection was weaker than the top performers. The cast iron handle felt really warm around 20 seconds, and it got too hot to hold at the 25-second mark. It also lost in the first round of the tournament.
Loser.
It did pass the steam test with no issues though. The silicone part is waterproof, and the ketchup, mustard, and oil stains wiped right off. It's not machine washable though, so you need to rinse and scrub it. It was better than KitchenAid at picking up smaller items, but it still couldn't grip a glass or a pan. The OXO silicone oven mitt is America's Test Kitchen's top pick. Unlike most on the list, it only comes with 1 mitt, not 2. It's made of silicone with a cotton interior, and it performed well in my heat tests. My hands started to get warm after holding the skillet for around 20 seconds, and I had to let it go at 27. In the tournament, it won the first 2 rounds before getting knocked out in the third. Winner. It also passed the steam test with no issues. This mitt is waterproof, stains wiped right off, and the grip is secure. I was able to pick up small items easily, but I couldn't grab the glass or the small pan. One thing to be aware of is that 24 hours after running it through the wash cycle, the fabric on the wrist and inside was still wet. Every other mitt I washed was dry by then. It also fits pretty tight around the mid-hand area, and I don't have the largest hands. The Ove Glove is a glove-style design with individual fingers. It feels more like putting on a winter glove than a typical oven mitt. It's made with Kevlar, the same material used in firefighter gear. And like the OXO, it only comes with 1 glove. The heat protection of this glove was surprising. Before I get into that, I want to quickly thank Monarch Money for sponsoring this video. Monarch Money is a private, ad-free personal finance platform that brings all your accounts into one clean dashboard. Instead of jumping between a bunch of different banking apps, credit cards, and investment accounts, Monarch Money connects securely with over 13,000 financial institutions so you can see everything in one place. One feature I found really helpful is spend tracking. It automatically categorizes your transactions so you can see where your money's actually going. And you can compare spending month over month, year over year, and it makes it really easy to spot trends. It also tracks your net worth, which is one of those things that's genuinely hard to keep track of without a tool like this. And it's really motivating to see that number going in the right direction. There's also a built-in AI assistant where you can ask questions like, how much money did I spend on travel this year? And you get a straight and accurate answer. If you're ready to start your free trial, scan the QR code or click the link below. And when you sign up, use the code PRUDENT50 for half off your first year. So I mentioned that the Ove Glove is made with the same materials used in firefighter gear. But the heat protection was actually disappointing. The cast iron handle got too hot to hold after 20 seconds, and it lost in the first round of the head-to-head testing. It didn't perform great in the steam test either. I had to pull my hand away at the 25-second mark. This glove is also not waterproof, and the mustard stain stayed on the fabric until I put it through a wash cycle. The hanging loop is thin like a shoelace, which makes it a bit more annoying to remove from a knob, and getting it on your hand takes more effort than a mitt. The upside of the glove style design is that it's easy to pick things up. It picked up everything except the coin, and it was only one of two that could actually grip the small saucepan. The Homwe oven mitt is the New York Times top pick. It comes in a pair of two, and it's made of silicone on the outside with quilted cotton lining on the inside. This mitt aced every heat test. It lasted the full 30 seconds on the cast iron handle, it passed the steam test with no issues, and it beat out every other mitt in the head-to-head matchups, including the OXO and KitchenAid Ribbed. It's also one of the longest mitts I tested at almost 15 inches, so you get more coverage up your wrist. It's waterproof, machine washable, stains wipe right off, and the grip is solid. My one complaint is that it's pretty stiff. It could only pick up the garlic and a spoon. It was one of the few that couldn't pick up the butter knife. Also, the hanging loop is smaller than most, which makes it a little harder to get on and off a knob. Grill armor is another glove-style design with individual fingers, similar to the Ove Glove, and it's marketed as being safe up to 932 degrees. Heat protection didn't live up to the marketing though. It only lasted 20 seconds on the cast iron handle, and it lost in the first round of the tournament to OXO. In the steam test, it got hot after about 15 seconds. Like the Ove Glove, water leaks right through it, and wiping it with a damp cloth didn't remove the mustard stain, although it did come out in the washer. On the positive side, the fingers do make it easier to grab smaller items, and the grip on the heavy pour test was solid. Overall, it performed almost identically to the Ove Glove, but for a little bit more money, you get a second glove. The KitchenAid Gourmet oven mitt comes in a pair of two, and it's made of cotton with a polyester fill. It has some silicone for grip, but only in a thin grid pattern rather than covering the entire hand. It also has a built-in magnet, so you can stick it to your oven door or fridge. This mitt was one of the worst performers in my tests. The cast iron handle started getting warm at 15 seconds, and I had to let it go at 20. It also lost in the first round of the head-to-head matchups to Homwe. And in the steam test, my hand got really warm after about 17 seconds. Water leaks right through the fabric, and the mustard and oil stains faded after multiple wash cycles, but they still haven't fully come out. It's also bulky, so it's not easy to grab things while wearing it. I love the magnet, but it's noticeably smaller than the magnets on some of the other mitts I tested, and it's stitched into the corner of the wrist, so you have to be more precise when sticking it to something. The MagMitt is a newer product made by the popular food creator TrigTube. I'm a big fan of his content, but I'm always a little skeptical when creators launch their own products, so I was curious to see how it would hold up in my tests. It comes as a 3-piece set with 2 mitts and a pot holder. The mitts are made of cotton canvas with a plush polyester terry cloth lining and a silicone grip on the palm. All 3 pieces have a large magnet built right into the center, so you can stick the mitts to your oven door or fridge and grab them without messing with the hanging loop. It does have a hanging loop too, but the magnet is much more convenient and a lot more fun. Unlike the others, the thumb sits in the front, which lets you open up your hand really wide. It's also smaller, so you don't get a ton of wrist coverage, but the compact size makes it easy to store in a drawer without taking up too much space. The pot holder doubles as a trivet, and since it has a magnet too, when you pick the pot up, the holder sticks right to the bottom. So you can move a hot pot around your kitchen and set it down anywhere without damaging your countertop. These mitts performed really well in my heat tests. I was able to hold the cast iron skillet for a full 30 seconds without much heat coming through. In the head-to-head matchups, it beat the Ove Glove in the first round, but it lost to the OXO in the second. It was a really close matchup though. The difference was minimal. It passed the steam test, but since there's less coverage on the wrist, I did feel a little heat there. Where the MagMitt really stands out is its flexibility and how easy it is to grab things. Of all the mitt-style gloves I tested, this one was the best. I easily picked up the garlic clove, knife, and spoon, and since it opens up wide, I was able to grip the water glass with one hand. The only other gloves that could do that were the ones with the individual fingers. The silicone palm is waterproof, but water can leak through the fabric parts. And the mustard stains didn't totally come off when I wiped it with a damp cloth, but they came out after one cycle in the washer. The Caraway oven mitt comes in a pair of 2, and it's made of 100% organic cotton. It's one of the most expensive mitts I tested, and it's also one of the only ones without any silicone on the outside. That lack of silicone showed up in my tests. It had the worst grip of any mitt I tested. I had to squeeze noticeably harder to hold the cast iron skillet. And it struggled to pick up the garlic clove, and I couldn't grab the knife at all. Heat protection was also relatively poor. The cast iron handle got too hot to hold after 19 seconds, and it lost in the first round of the tournament to the KitchenAid Ribbed mitt. In the steam test, my hand was getting pretty warm after 15 seconds. It's not fully waterproof either. It held up under running water, which surprised me, but when I submerged it, water leaked through. The Hourplace oven mitt comes in a pair of two, and it's made of cotton twill with a silicone grip. Like the MagMitt, it has a built-in magnet for easy storage. It's tied with Homwe for the longest mitt I tested at almost 15 inches. So you get a lot of wrist coverage. And it's one of the nicer looking mitts in the group, with a darker blue on one side and a lighter blue on the other. The heat protection wasn't great though. The cast iron handle got too hot to hold after just 18 seconds, and while it did beat Sungwoo in the first round, it lost to the KitchenAid Ribbed in the second. The silicone exterior blocked the steam with no issues, and that part of the mitt is completely waterproof. In my cleaning test, the mustard stain wiped right off the silicone, but it was still visible on the fabric part even after all the wash cycles. Another issue is how stiff and bulky it is. Similar to the Homwe mitt, I could only pick up the garlic clove and the spoon. It struggled with the knife, coin, and glass. So after all that testing, which of these oven mitts are actually worth buying? Before I give you my take, just a quick heads up that I've linked to all 10 oven mitts in the video description. So if heat protection is your #1 priority, the Homwe mitt is really tough to beat. It won every heat test I ran, and the silicone extends further down the wrist than most, so you get more coverage when reaching into the oven. But if I had to pick one mitt overall, it's the MagMitt. It's not the cheapest option, but you get 2 mitts and a pot holder. The heat protection is excellent, it's flexible enough to grab a spoon or pick up a knife without taking it off, and the magnets are incredibly convenient. The KitchenAid Ribbed is also worth mentioning. It came in second in the head-to-head heat tests. It's waterproof, and it's one of the cheaper options. OXO, Sungwoo, and Hourplace performed well, but they all have enough drawbacks that I'd pick one of the top 3 instead. The ones I'd definitely avoid are the Caraway and KitchenAid Gourmet. And unless you really want individual fingers, I'd also skip Grill Armor and the Ove Glove. If this video was helpful, check out this video where I break down the best Dutch ovens. Or this video where I review 31 of the most popular stainless steel frying pans. And for more videos like this, click the logo to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.